There's a quote I often come back to. Discipline is choosing what we want most over what we want now. And if I'm being honest, that sounds beautiful in theory, but in real life, discipline looks like waking up when you don't feel like it. It looks like keeping promises to yourself when nobody's watching. It looks like doing the work when motivation is out the door or never even showed up. Because motivation is emotional, but discipline is structural. And if we're continuing the house metaphor that we introduced in the first episode of this season, discipline is one of those rooms that keeps the house standing. Yes, foundation might hold the house up. Well, not might. Foundation does hold the house up, but discipline determines what happens inside. Let's get into it. If this is your first time here, welcome to the house. This podcast is built around a simple metaphor. Your life is a house. And every week we step into a different room, which represents a different area of life. Some weeks we'll talk about foundation. This is your identity, values, and grounding. Some weeks we'll talk about legacy, parenting, family, overall generational impact. Some weeks we'll even step into the covenant room, talk about marriage and partnerships. But today, we're stepping into the discipline room. And if I'm being honest, this room might be one of the most uncomfortable rooms in the house. Because discipline removes excuses. Discipline is interesting because people often talk about it like it's punishment. Like discipline is a restriction. But in all actuality, it's alignment. It's the daily behavior that supports the life you say you want. How often do we say we want something but behave in ways that move us further away from it? We talk about our summer bodies loading and all of the above, but we out here eating McDonald's or ordering out 4 or 5 times a week, thinking that, oh, I'm just going to work it off. I'm a balance. And no, y'all, trust me, I've tried it. Doesn't work. I honestly didn't respect the power of discipline until I entered the world of powerlifting. Because y'all, once you step under that heavy barbell, the weight exposes what your preparation has actually built. Your habits, your consistency, your discipline shows up immediately. And baby, that weight doesn't care about your intentions. It responds to your preparation. And honestly, life works the same way. Let's talk about what discipline actually looks like in real life. Not Instagram discipline, not your daily motivational quote discipline, but real discipline. Real discipline looks like consistency. It looks like doing the small things over and over and over again until they compound. It looks like choosing growth over comfort. And sometimes it looks boring. I remember when I was training for my first competition and I decided I was going to hold off on alcohol until after my meet. And y'all, your girl loves her little glass of wine with dinner, a little red wine, a little Merlot. But I had to stay disciplined. I could not allow myself to fall backwards and remove all of the hard work that I had been doing these last few weeks, months, I should say, because I wanted to enjoy a glass of wine. My husband would often tell me, it's all fun and games till you are out at dinner with your friends and you ain't got no macros to spare. So you got to sit there and enjoy your nice glass of water while your homie over here is enjoying this nice 14-ounce New York strip steak. Discipline isn't glamorous. It's repetitive. But repetition builds structure, and structure creates freedom. Because once something becomes a discipline, you no longer have to negotiate with yourself about it. It becomes a part of who you are. One of the biggest traps people fall into is waiting for motivation. That I'll start when mentality is going to be the reason why we never move the needle. I'm guilty of it. How long was I out here telling people I'll start Shou Talks when I have the time, when I have the space, when I have this, when I have that? And finally, I had to pull the trigger because you have to be the one to decide. The universe isn't going to sit here and send you a letter, an invitation of with a date on it. You make those choices. Motivation is inconsistent. Discipline is dependable. Motivation is emotional, whereas discipline is structural. Yeah, motivation shows up when things feel good. Discipline, however, discipline shows up when things feel hard. And the truth is, the life most people say they want is built on a level of discipline most people are unwilling to practice. It just is what it is. It's the truth. For me, discipline shows up in a lot of places. It shows up in the gym because the truth is, the gym does not reward motivation. It rewards consistency. There's plenty of days I walk in and I do not feel strong. I'm not excited. I don't feel like lifting weights, especially the heavy ones. But discipline says, show up anyway. It says, do the warm up, do the accessories, do the boring parts that no one posts on Instagram. Because the big lifts everyone celebrates, they're built on the quiet work no one sees. And that's one of the things that the barbell teaches you very quickly. When that weight gets heavy, the bar doesn't care about how motivated you felt that week. It responds to the work you did when nobody was watching. Discipline for me also shows up in motherhood. And that often means managing my own reactions. Y'all, I can't tell you how many times Ramses has had a meltdown in public. And of course, the old school mama in me want to just snatch him up. And I'm not going to lie, there have been times that I have. But the disciplined response isn't yelling or reacting emotionally. It's pausing, breathing, and responding calmly. Discipline in motherhood isn't always loud or obvious. Sometimes it looks like repeating the same lesson for the 100,000th time. Sometimes it looks like holding a boundary, even when your child is upset with you. Sometimes it looks like regulating your own emotion before responding to theirs. It looks like realizing the little habits you practice every day are quietly shaping the humans you're raising. Y'all, I can't lie to y'all and say discipline don't show up in marriage because it is one of the things that people do not talk about enough. Because when people talk about marriage, they usually talk about the love and the romance and all this stuff. But long marriages are sustained by discipline too. Discipline looks like choosing respect, even when you're frustrated. It's, and I'm working on this, y'all. You can ask Ren. I'm not always successful, but it's choosing not to be petty. It looks like communicating instead of shutting down. And I am notorious for shutting down. But this is something that I'm working on being a little better about it. So instead of just cutting off the communication, I let him know I need a moment to process. I'm trying not to shut down right now. So I just need to take a beat because I don't want to say something out of pocket. Discipline in marriage or partnership looks like protecting the partnership even on the days when you're tired, busy, or overwhelmed. Because marriage isn't just a feeling, it's a commitment you practice daily. And just like anything else in life, what you practice consistently becomes strong. And the more I look at it, the more I realize something. Discipline isn't just a habit in one area of your life. It's a structure. It's a framework that quietly supports every room in the house. And sometimes it isn't about pushing harder. Sometimes discipline is about holding boundaries, about protecting your time, your energy. It's about protecting the life you're building. Because discipline isn't just about effort. It's also about focus. And discipline asks one question. Does this behavior support the life I say I want? So if you're listening to this episode, I want you to ask yourself something. What room in your house needs more discipline? Is it your health, your mindset, finances, relationships? Because discipline is the bridge between the person you are today and the person you say you want to become. And every single day, you're either strengthening that bridge or weakening it. Before we leave the discipline room, let's step under the bar. Heavy weight exposes weak structure. If your stance is unstable, the weight shows you that. If your preparation is inconsistent, guess what? The weight exposes that. And life has a way of applying pressure. Deadlines, responsibilities, growth. Pressure doesn't create weakness. It reveals where structure needs strengthening. Today, we stepped into the discipline room because a strong life doesn't just happen. It's built day by day, choice by choice, habit by habit. And discipline is the structure that holds it together. If this episode made you think or challenged you in some way, share it with someone who's also building something meaningful in their life. You can tune into Shou Talks on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and most podcast platforms. New episodes drop every Wednesday. Guys, I am 3 for 3 right now. Pray for me. I'm going to keep it going. I told you I was going to try, and so far, I'm 3 for 3. Follow, subscribe, and turn on the notifications so you don't miss the next room in the house. If you're watching on YouTube, drop a comment below and answer this question. What area of your life requires the most discipline right now? Until next time, protect your peace, honor your growth, and tend to your house. I'll see you next week.